Welcome to the Seven Crosses series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 11th of August 2005. What I want to do in this part is move away from the focus of the last couple of parts where I was planning expansions and start to do a bit of an overall health check of the economy, because you can see we are now approaching 60,000 population, but more importantly, my health and my happiness is starting to fall. In fact, you can see the government loyalty is also stored. That is an indication that there's some things going wrong in my economy, which I do need to take a very good look at. But before that, I want to apologize in advance for the slightly long introduction to this video. So if any of you don't like long introductions, there will be a timestamp which will take you through into the gameplay. Now, this introduction is going to consist of two parts. One, I want to talk about an announcement the devs have made, and then the second part, I want to talk about an insight into the new update, because a couple of days ago, on the 5th of February 2022, Bill Boyle Joe had access to a very early build of the next update, and he did a 2.5-hour live stream, and I just want to talk about that live stream and my opinion of the new features that will be in the next update, plus also the potential implications for this series when that update drops into the public beta test branch. But first things first, I want to talk about an announcement that the devs have made a couple of literally this morning. I'm recording this on the 7th of March 2022. They've announced that they plan to actually make a Ukrainian-based DLC. And the idea behind this DLC is that they intend to raise money for, I suppose, to help the massive number of refugees and other groups which have fled into Western Europe. And I'm not going to get into the rights and wrongs of what's going on in Ukraine, and I really ask you guys not to comment about it, because I'm not interested and I will not respond to any comments on either side with that. The one thing I will say is that when that DLC does come out, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be based on Ukrainian buildings, we will be taking a look at building possibly a new city that will feature those buildings. Now, moving on, the next thing I want to talk about is the new update and the features that Bill Joe was able to highlight. Now, be aware what I'm saying is based on what he was saying, and then he also emphasized that this is very much a first build, so some of the things I may talk about may not actually come to fruition. Now, his live stream could be broken down into three parts, and what I want to do is just go through those three parts. The first one is relatively straightforward. What they're introducing is snapping to this grid. So if you want to have all your buildings perfectly aligned, there will now be an option to do that by switching this grid on. Say, for example, you want to put a perfect line of buildings here. What will happen is that where your cursor is, the building will snap to that position on this grid. So what you could do is build a perfect line of roads down here. Now, to me, it's getting all my buildings perfectly aligned. It isn't exactly a top priority, mainly because in the UK we're used to everything being slightly misaligned. But the one aspect I do like about this is the fact that it also apply to roads. So what you should be able to do is snap down on a road going this way and get a lovely alignment here, rather than roads with slight curves and things like that. And more importantly, he demonstrated building a roundabout, and what he did was he came down like that, and when he was drawing it, we got an angle tool, which is absolutely brilliant, because what that will mean is that we'll be able to get some fairly good quality road junctions and roundabouts. That's the bit that really interests me with that new feature. Now, the other two features that he talked about was the new water mechanics and also the new roadside mechanics. Now, before I talk about that, my impressions of that, I just want to kind of highlight the implications of these two features with respect to this series. But one thing he did demonstrate is that the fact that we have the ability to switch them on. So at the moment, I'm considering two ways forward. One is a little bit of an Armageddon approach, where I'm going to try and put the water and traffic signals into this Let's Play when it hits the beta branch. by switching on both mechanics, but I think that might be a bit too much. So the strategy I'm kind of working towards is switching on the road signs first, and then we'll probably play quite a few parts, try and set the traffic signs up. In fact, what I might do is a test of switching on the mechanic and not actually putting any signs up and see what happens. So there might be a question of playing a few hours, seeing what happens, and then going back to a save game and redoing it, just so we can get a comparison with the road signs. What I probably would do is the road signs first, because I think that would be the easiest one to deal with. And what we can do then is, say, for example, in a town like this, we could try different ways of trying to control the traffic and seeing what the implications are. And of course, the real focus is trying to get a good understanding of the different road signs and how they will affect the flow of traffic across the map. And probably one area where it's going to be quite a useful experiment will be this early road here, where we got this road running through the center, virtually through the center of the town. Yeah, so managing this highway could be an interesting challenge. So that is going to be the road signs, and I think that in some ways that would be the easier of the two. Now, water. I must admit, I didn't really understand the implications of water because I took a slightly simplistic view, but the devs have really gone all in on this, and water is going to be quite complicated, and I think trying to get it into this map will be a substantial challenge, especially if the citizens not having water would be the equivalent of not having food. But of course, an interesting aspect that was highlighted in that live stream is the quality of the water, because what citizens won't only just want water, but they will also want a good quality water. And so therefore, kind of just pumping in out some water from the local lake and shoving it into them may not actually be the way forward. Now, another interesting spin is the fact that certain industries will also require water. So, for example, trying to think of the ones that he mentioned, the concrete plant will consume water, but they won't need good water. They can have any old water. So effectively, the new update has the potential for multiple water supplies, which I think is going to be a very interesting challenge. Now, another interesting element is that there will be gravitational supply as well as gravitational disposal. So, for example, I think what Bill Joe demonstrated is he put a well up on a mountain, and he was able to get the water to flow down into water towers, which will then preserve the pressure to distribute to a small town. That is going to be very, very interesting. But of course, there's also implications for like Ollerton here, is how are we going to get rid of the foul water? Because the only way at the moment it seems that we have to get rid of foul water is by actually dropping it into lakes or areas like this. What I'm wondering about is whether we may have to create some disposal lakes. But one thing I've never really tested is that whether if you drop the landscape down low enough, will water appear? It's something I need to look at. And of course, that has implication that we may have to use the terrain editor in cheat mode to do that. So water is going to be a substantial challenge. Also, the fact that the gradient will be, so if I switch on here, so like we've got a fairly high hill here, and the question will be is if I say, for example, if I built a water well, a well up here, or the alternative would be just to have a well and then pump the water up to a tank on the top of the hill and then use the pressure to flow down into the actual town. And another one is going to be pollution from industry. Now, there's also going to be pollution if you don't take away the foul water as well. And some buildings seem to produce pollution because they've got foul water disposal. So the water mechanic is going to be pretty complex to implement, and that is one reason why I would like to try and get water into this economic structure, simply because I think it'd be quite important to be able to get that up and running and working and understood in the context of a large economy before we go back to our start. Now, the other thing also is that in order to get clean water, you can get clean water from wells, but as long as they're not polluted. But, and this is a big but for hard starts, is that there is a lot of use of chemicals from the get-go. unless the modders can come up with a way around that, what we will be talking at is when you first start out, you're going to have to import chemicals with all the necessary implications. And of course, normally with current series, chemicals is a late game addition. In fact, I'm still not manufacturing chemicals even now, and I'm on 2005 because the amount of chemicals you consume at the moment is controllable. It's not essential to your economy because you're only using chemicals to make, say, the components for the electronics and also clothes and or fabrics. Sorry. With the new update, chemicals is going to be very much an integral part of your economy, and that is going to be something that's going to be a bit of a challenge to manage. And I think I better stop here. The whole video will be about what are my impressions of the new water update. But overall, I have to admit, I'm very impressed by that update, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. So moving on, I'd like to say a big thank you for your comments and feedback. As usual, you guys give me a lot to think about. And Staffu, well, he's given me a little bit of a challenge because he said, look, considering all the water that's on my map here, is it possible to get a hydroelectric dam in? And I thought, yeah, it should be quite easy. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, it's not as easy as it seems. Because if I come in here, because of course the only hydro dam we've got is this one here. I mean, we've got windmills, but we got this one here, and I spent a good 20 odd minutes kind of going around the map trying different locations, and trying to fit this on is quite tricky. For example, if I let me just see, I know I can put one in here, but you can see here, but the problem with this one is it doesn't cross the whole water. And if these power connections aren't actually on land, you can't connect them. So you can't build, even though that says it can be built, it can't be built. Now, I did do a little bit of an experiment and use the cheat terrain editor to bring the land out so to fit it there. But I thought, well, I don't really want to do that. But so what I did is I went all the way round, and I kind of found one location where a dam may work. But the only downside is it's a little bit far from the population. So, and that is just in this area here. So if we come into here, and of course, with the full application of Murphy's Law, is that it just fits across here where this power cable is. I think if I probably move, I don't know if I can get it in a little bit closer like that. So what we're going to do is build one here. As I say, it's a little bit far from the town to bring some workforce down, but I mean, this is more an exercise than just putting a hydro dam in. And what we'll do is connect you up to there, because we're going to need to bus workers down. And as I say, I've got this power line here which supplies the power up to here. And what I'm considering is that if we put in, see, I don't really want to build some power junctions on this side because they might be a bit susceptible to fire, although there's still quite a lot. So what I'm considering is, let me see, power transformers. We need to make kind of multiple connections. We want some kind of through connection here, but we would need to make a connection to there. So what I'm considering is we're going to put not one but two here. So if I just kind of stick that around like that, and then we're put in you up there, and then I want to get you across to there like that, and then eventually what we'll do is bring some gravel, bring gravel road in. Okay, we're gonna probably have to bring a gravel road in like that. Actually, that went quite well. We'll get our flying crews on this. So, and get that built. What I'm going to need to do is put in an alternative power supply, so that what we can do is when this is finished, we can break this power line, put it into here or one of these, and then we can possibly maybe bring one in on this side and one out on that side, and then that means that this will possibly support the power grid in this area. So that is going to be quite interesting. Now I think that covers the comments, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go around and give you a bit of an update of what is going on. Generally in this area, I think we're okay. The real problem we got developing at the moment is electronics. We got a problem with sport, so these being built, I think we need to get that in there. I don't think the happiness is brilliant in this area. 53%. So these guys need a little bit more sport and other bits and pieces, but I think they'll come round over time. I've also got this kind of work. What I've done is I've put some surplus workforce into here. Now, going back to the water update, one factory that will need quite a lot of water and good quality water, this is another aspect, is it's not just a question of any old water in these factories, it's food factories. Thank you, game. Food factories will now need water to function, and that kind of poses a bit of a question about mods, because I've like most people, like for example, we come down to over here, I've got a little bakery tucked in here. It's just there actually. Now the question is when the new update comes in, will the new update break these mods, or will these mods function without water? And I suppose that also then feeds into buildings. Will these have a demand for water as well, or whether that will be added automatically? So there's an implication for mods on that perspective as well. Anyway, back to up here. I just want to kind of give this the once over. You can see we've now got our food factory running here. I've actually shut this factory down here. In fact, I could have showed you this one here. We've got a distribution office here, but of course it's not connected to rail. And what we are getting a reasonable supply of crops coming in from this field here. So hopefully this town will provide a surplus. In fact, we do have quite a big surplus here. We've got 583. So what I would like to do, I think I was trying to put together a I think with this is it here. We're just building a distribution office here, because if we're producing large quantities of food here, I would like to start sending that across the map. But of course it's going to take a little while to get the vehicles going down across the map. I think we're really going to need that food, simply because of a population of nearly 60,000, my current food production is probably starting to strain a bit. More importantly, the distribution, which then now leads me on to, I'm hoping that in this part we'll be able to get this food distribution working. In fact, what we got here, guys, actually, I'm just going to monitor him. I'm just going to go a bit quicker. Right, because if he's gonna, oh, what's he doing? I don't really want him building out here, because I'm going to suspend that one, because he's past this crossroads here. He's got the power out here. What we do want him is to build this bit here. In fact, I just want to run through, make sure all the power's here. The power break here. What's up with this? What's causing this problem? Means that somewhere in here is a little bit of track that's, there it is. I'm just going to build this manually because it's just a mess, to be honest. I'm just going to slow the game up. Yeah, when you get little gaps like that caused by like that, it's one of the downsides of actually laying track in 2 stages. Right, I think what we'll do now is just check the rail construction offices, and then we'll start looking for problems in our overall economy. Right, so this guy's down to 1. Where are you building? Oh, you're building the elevated trackway. This one will be relatively easy. We'll just come out to up here. And we need to build this in here. I still think there's a few, looks like there's a few gaps in here. And what I want this guy to do is actually build that. I think if he builds that, we should then be able to bring this distribution office online when that's finished. What I want to do is use this distribution office for possibly clothes and maybe food, if I can bring the food down from our new town to here. And of course the other thing I would like to do is bring fuel up to here as well, fuel and bitumen, which will mean that we can make this a bit more efficient. And of course ideally eventually the cement as well can come into this area, as get that going. We got the cement works here, although what I might do with the cement is actually just use a static train. So that's that one construction office done. We're going back over to here and we'll see what these guys are up to. Right, we're down to 2 again here. It always seems to drop down to 2. This guy is building into here. Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with him doing that. This guy's just building into there. It won't be long before he's done it. That means that the track that needs to be built is the one that's going out. Where is it? Across the track. It's up over here in the oil fields here somewhere. Right, we need to electrify this track now. So we're getting very close to getting our oil trains running. Although, why is this? I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Now, of course, in the last part, we were planning our oil field here. And you can see that the road structure is coming in quite nicely. I'm kind of thinking that we may need to get this area kind of sorted. And I think initially what we might do is get the oil flowing into this area. I think I did put a pipe connection here. We'll get the oil flowing into this area. And so it comes to there, and then eventually we'll branch out that way. And of course, up here, we've got our substantial complex here that's being built by the helicopter crews, and we're filling all this area in. I mean, we actually finished the distribution office out here, but so eventually we'll get all this filled in. Now, what I want to do next is get down to Stilton. Because one of the big problems I'm getting now, if I click on these buildings, is you can see electronics. We're just not getting the amount of electronics into our economy, because now electronics wears out and disappears. So you can no longer just rely on, oh well, we'll supply electronics once. Now, before I started the video, I was checking here, and we do have a problem in this area with food, because I think what we really need here is another shop, because I think because I've built all these buildings here, I'm kind of overloading our food supply here now. I think if I come in here, yeah, you can see that. So what I'm considering is that we put because I would like to build some more flats out here if they're required, or I want the option, because of course we've got this geothermal plant here. So what I'm considering is actually just putting in a small what we can put in here, a small shopping centre. I don't think we need a massive one because we just need something to complement this over here. And I would like, ideally, I would like to, we can drop that down and put a shopping centre there, like that, like that, and then as the road crew, get these guys working on. We'll just drop you into there, and what that will mean is that we'll have a shop here that will support this shop here, because I was monitoring this and it looks okay, but occasionally it was coming into here where people couldn't get food despite having a maximum workforce. So it wouldn't take much more if I was to bring more residents into this to overload this single store here. So that's the reason why I want to put this store here. I mean, this elevated railway is coming along quite nicely. Now, actually, let's take a look at the population. See, we're not getting any over 21s, and I think that's because we're still kind of, actually, how many, what's the overall? Yeah, so we're still kind of getting, we've kind of had a peak of escapees, deaths and births. So at the moment, I think the population is just a little bit marginal. And I think this is one of the problems when you get a really big population in this game. It can flatten and go unstable very, very quickly. On the positive side, if it's localized, say, for example, you had a catastrophic food crash in, say, Stilton, but the other cities were okay, you can survive it. But, of course, the impact on your economy can be quite dramatic. So it's something that you do need to consider. The other thing I'm thinking is that we've got a pub out here. I'm wondering whether we could put a pub out here. Just get a bit more alcohol into the area. I mean, we got some kind of little bit of space here next to the wow, looks like we're getting a bit of a crime problem as well. We're probably going to need to take a look at that. Well, we got another courthouse in here somewhere, or is it? Maybe it's just an effect of what's going on. Maybe we'll check the prison. I am really think because we got a pub there, which will allow people to come to there. So, say for example, I put a little pub out here, and we're on this corner in this area here. Don't want it near the school. You shouldn't build pubs near a school. And let me just see alcohol. What we got here? Pub. Beach cafe bar. I don't want a big pub, but maybe we'll just put a small pub. Just tuck it in this. Maybe we'll put it near the heat exchanger and power supplies here. So I just want to drop that in there. Because I think we really need to start possibly putting some things that will increase the happiness, even if it will mean reducing the health. I think we've got, just want to check here. Yeah, we're not. How's the meat supplies? The meat is good, so I've fixed the meat problem. All I've got is the food is getting a bit marginal. Electronics. Can we? Is there any way we can increase the workforce here? I'm just going to push the workforce up. Maybe we'll go the full 150 actually. If we can get some more workforce out here, because I think I've got people stood here. What we got here? You're coming to there. How many? We've just got 2 buses here. Put the line. I'm just thinking that maybe we need to get some more workers out here. Got buses here. What's the capacity of these buses? These have got 85. I think we're going to get an extra bus on here. Just to try and get some more workers in. Right, this has only got one person, so I think we're going to add a second bus to here, put the line spacing on. And see if we can get the production up a little bit, get a few more electronics being produced. I think we might be able to get some stuff into here. So if we can get a bigger workforce into there, it would be okay. My vehicle factory is going absolutely great. In fact, I think it's going a little bit too great, actually. We've got loads and loads of snow plows. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to need them. But of course, I haven't really got this ramped up yet for obvious reasons. Although we got a template for potentially buying a train, but let me just see. Electric motives. This is 110 million. I'm not quite ready yet to spend that type of money on getting this working, to be honest. I mean, if I was still playing what I originally set out with this series of sticking straight to hard mode, I would be going to a template. But we're in this kind of quasi situation now where things are and aren't at the same time, in the sense that we're now playing really to demonstrate the game and prepare for the next update, because pretty sure the next update will kill this series, whether I like it or not. Actually, I've just realised is maybe we can put a monument in up here. Did I put well, we got one in here. It should help things a little bit. Is this distribution office finished yet? No, it's still being built. Mechanism. Okay. I mean, the problem is distance. It's just the sheer distance out here that's giving us a little bit of a area here. I would like to get, if we can get all these roads built in, what I'd like to do then is we're going to get a what we call it built here. Get the construction, get the resources in, get the construction train going so that we can start to lay out the track this way. Right, let's just have a quick look at. I think you guys can just try and push this forward a little bit with the helicopters. I know I'm kind of overloading them a little bit, but building there that doesn't seem to have a road connection, but it's probably reliant on this. Let me just see. Yeah, you're going to go into there. I don't want to break that. So I'll keep our helicopter crews focused on road. Now, if any of you follow the series, you'd be aware that I put this road in a little while ago, and it's going quite well, actually. I'm still struggling a little bit with the junctions, but I think I don't really want to plan too much here until this road is at least built through to here. Now the problem, what I was looking at is the problem we got here with this bridge. We're going to need to try and get this bridge built as quickly as possible so that we can get trucks in here, because this is all going to be a bit remote. And for that reason, I'm kind of half thinking about possibly putting another road down from here, but I'm not sure it's gonna work, to be honest. I mean, if I draw the map up here, gives you an idea of the scale, because we got our road coming across here. We got a road up there. We'll have a road connection from there. My instinct is to have a road through the center there, so that we can get the crews. In fact, I've just noticed something. We got a bridge up here. Has this been built? I build this bridge. This bridge is built. I'm just wondering Because we got this farm here. I'm just wondering if I can put a farm in here. It's not exactly the most level of territory. Let's just have a look here. I know I'd said that I wasn't going to do any planning, but if I could, we could get possible, maybe with a little bit of leveling here, we could get a farm through here. We've got a road connection there. This would be, just look at this. We've got a road there, and if I could, let me just plan this. Say, for argument's sake, I put a road through like that. I mean, it may not lend itself to the most efficient of farms, but I put a road connection through to there. That means that we could possibly plan a farm in here, which will then, and we could then ship the crops up to here to make this even more efficient. I think that might work. Anyway, I'm meant to be looking for problems with my towns. So we're going to get back to there. Let me just take a look at this. Happiness is above average here. So it looks like 100%, 90, good health. Loyalty is 76%. Don't think we can get the loyalty any higher now until we bring in personal transport. Now I think 76% is, or 70-80% is probably the top for it. But what we might be able to do is, yeah, you're 70%. Maybe we get the teachers to 70% here. Maybe we can get it a little bit higher. So looks like Foodville is good. And again, one thing I've noticed is that smaller towns seem to be more stable than larger towns. You know, if you get a large town, they can be a little bit more vulnerable. He's got 73% loyalty. Wow, these have got 84-85%. Why are you guys so happy? Probably because you've got electronics. Yep. It's the electronics that makes the difference with the happiness. And hopefully if we can get more electronics coming in. As I say, I don't really want to resort to importing it. So this area is really happy. While we're here, we'll just spin up and take a look at here. And we'll just do a secondary check on this one here. Yeah, you're 70%, 65%, 53%. And you've got sports, spirit, archery, milk. 11 children have no school. What we really need is this school built then. Because you're too far away. And we've got a lot of crime here as well, probably because the kids have got nothing to do. Oh, we need a fire station. What I am going to do is I'm just going to buy the fire trucks here, so we'll put you in there. Actually, what's the unemployment like here? Oh, yeah, we got a few workers without a job, but that should give them a job. That will also give us a little bit better fire coverage. Yeah, I forgot about that. Got lots of workers here. Because what I've done is I think one of my helicopter offices is now picking up a workforce from here. We really need this built. It's the helicopters on this one. We're going to get the helicopters working on that. If education is a problem, we've got unemployment here as well. So it's just, at the moment, we're just kind of push this up a little bit as well. You've got 5. I wonder if this police station is really up to the job. Maybe we need a bigger police station here. But that might be 5 out of 5. Small heat exchanger. But probably put a few more people in there. Maybe with, what's the loyalty here like? The Lorty's good. I think the only other... Where is the school? I've built one school here. I'm sure I have. Yeah, we'll push you up to 60. And we... maximum as well. We get more workers into there. Maybe we're... Whoops. I'll put a few more workers into the hospital as well. Just so that we can suck up that extra population. Maybe we're just put a few extra workers in there. But we don't have the unemployment. Train been waiting too long. Oh, what have you done? Probably because he's going on here. Where are you going? Probably because we've got track problems here. I think what we'll do is we're break this up a little bit. I think that might be the problem. I think they're interacting on this line here. This line is actually finished, so there's no reason for a train to come up here. So let me just check. Right. So this line is going up that way, which means this, yeah, it's... I've lost my track here. I've got so much. Right. So you're the down line, which means you're going to be the up line here. And then you're going to be down line there with that. And we're put you in there like that. We'll separate out that line, and this will be the permanent signals for when the train. Why are you going out round there? What is the problem with this track? Don't understand that. And we've got a potential problem here. Let me just speed the game up. I'm not a bit confused over why he would want to go out round there to get to there, come up to there. I want to see whether he actually can get back. It shouldn't take him long to lay in this track here and see whether there's anything wrong with this section of track here. So he's now complaining about there's got to be something wrong with the signaling here, or the track. Is it broken? Because it won't use this bit of track here. Because if I change these to all two ways, get rid of those. A bit dog's dinner. We kind of get rid of these. He's going to work, isn't he? Just. So what is wrong with this bit of track? I don't understand. Ah, there's no crossover, is there? He's going to go all the way down round there. Let's see. But he should have been able to come across this crossover and go up this line here. Through there to there to there. That doesn't make sense, man. I'm not seeing any gap in this track. We got Power signal block break there. Why have you got a little bit of a break here? Let me just see. We got a little bit of track here that the build. Get rid of that, but that shouldn't affect the guy because he's a diesel train. He doesn't need power. But that's the type of annoying little problem that would have caught me out later on. I just don't understand what the problem would be here. I don't think I'm going to waste any more of your time, guys. I'll come back to that. And while we're here at Ollerton, we'll see what the situation in Ollerton is, because say we do need to try and sort out. Ollerton is above average, 71, 74%, 80%. So that is, food is good. Loyalty is a bit low. Let me just see. 55. Actually causing the problem here. Electronics again. 8%. Let's just check the schools. I think maybe we push the university up a little bit. Just push these up so that we can improve our education. Orphanage 65, yeah, we probably need to get this up so that we got more kids here. We've actually got population growth now. We're actually over 60,000 and we've actually got some over 21, so I think we're reasonably okay. And I think it's time to come over and see this little area here. These guys are really happy, but then again they got lots and lots of alcohol. What's the loyalty here? The loyalty is pretty good as well, actually. Again, it's these small towns that seem to work. We haven't looked at Knife Edge yet, so we'll just take a quick look at Knife Edge and see how the situation here in Knife Edge is. It's kind of mixed here, but then we've got alcohol in one area, and of course we've got fairly unhealthy conditions in this area. Right, we don't have full technical services here, so we're gonna just go over and find our factory with its piles and piles of trucks. We'll dispatch some of our lovely, kind of fill you up. So many things to do. And what that should do is just fill that up. Let me just get rid of you. I want to have a little bit of a look round to see if all my technical services are full up. Get the feeling, looks like the helicopters are queuing here, ready to pick up the necessary resources. Something I'm going to need to look at. That one's full. I think what I'm going to need to do is play through the winter and see what my technical services coverage is. Medium distribution office, what we got here. You're good. I think that's something that's going to have to be on the agenda. What we got here? Technical services. I suppose I could consider upgrading some of this stuff. We got here. Or distribution office with absolutely nothing in it. Absolutely no idea. Okay, we got more distribution. Or more into here. That one's done. Oops. Rid of you. Got building on fire. Wait for the boom as it burns down. This technical office is full. This might need a little bit of a shove actually. No, it's going okay. Technical office here. This one needs a couple more. Just add you up. Put you in there as well. I can't remember if we got technical services. Have a quick look at our prison here. Wow. We need to get a little bit more. I've got a feeling we may need another prison. Oh, we can't see any more. We probably could do with a technical services here. We're using buses into this area, so maybe we need another technical services just up here, just to get it over here actually. Infrastructure. I mean, actually it'd be nice to infrastructure. Bit about there. Through rating. A little bit outside their range, but no, they picked it up. That's good. We've got 121 in there, 141 in there, so well, we got a little bit of capacity. I think if I remember correctly, there was a technical office over here, but oh, you're fully staffed, so you're okay. And there's another one here. It's fully staffed. That's good. I'd like a technical office here actually, because we during the winter everything slows up along this line. So I think we'll put another technical office in here. Maybe just on this corner here. We're not going to expand Foodville, so just want to put you there. You should be able to bring the road crew in from here. Build that. So you can come up and build that. Just get that built. So we're going to need to guarantee to keep this road, all these roads here clear. Right, we are now on the 30th of October. I'm aware that I'm starting to go over long, so I think just to finish this up, we're going to take a look at our food situation. Not food, sorry, crops. So we got 2,000. Yeah, we're really burning through the crops here. What we got down here. This is what I'm worried about, is the fact that you can see here that despite the fact we're nearly at the end of the season, we're no longer filling these silos up. And the reason for that is the fact that the food is being constantly consumed all the time now. And of course we're getting increased demand for clothes as well. My farming capacity is now starting to be a little bit restricted, although we've got plenty of crops in there. Oops. Thank you, game. And let's just see how well this one's going. Yeah, we got. I think we're really going to need to get some form of distribution going in this area. Our school is now. We need to get this up to. Also, just make sure that covers the loyalty. There. Oops. Maybe go a little bit higher. Get a little bit more loyalty in here. Where's the one that's the citizens' happiness is too low? So this is the problem corner. Electronics. Again, I think part of the problem is that because this is new, it's going to take a little while for electronics deliveries to get out here to make these people happy. I think maybe what we might need to do is get a pub in here, but again, it's a long distribution process, so what we're going to need to do is just try and keep these people happy so they kind of settle down. I quite like these council houses. It'd be really a shame if the new update does break all the modded buildings, because it'd be a bit of a disappointment that the water isn't added to them directly. And we've got a little bit of a crime problem here. Let's see. I think we got the coverage. It's just that I think this is too small, isn't it? We're gonna need another courtroom in here. I think what I might do is say infrastructure, police station, not courtroom, police station. I think I'm gonna replace you with a full-size police station. So put it in about here. Picking up the. We don't really want the. We put the police station here. Just rotate it a little bit. Put the police station there. Yeah, I should have really built the full-size one here from the get-go. Get you there, and then we'll replace that. We'll probably put some more housing in here so that we can get that there. The only other thing I want to do is just check the courtroom. I mean, people are being convicted, so it is an investigation problem. But this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. What I will do is play through the winter to the new year, because the only thing I really want to do through the winter, obviously on fixing any immediate problems, is just checking the technical services to make sure we got proper coverage. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.